Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel once again. So we're back on with the 89 and we're finally going to get this corner buttoned up, so we're going to get the two inner panels in. Before we get really into this video, I've got a bit of a shout out to make to Frost Restoration. So these guys have started sponsoring the channel a little while back now, and we've been working loads of bits and pieces and trying to map out bits and pieces that I use the most and stuff like that, and they're so helpful. Obviously the link is in the description below. A lot of you have probably heard of Frost Restoration, or Frost Auto I think is their Instagram name. They're a really good company, and they sell all the tools and bits and pieces you could possibly need. But that aside, they're a really good company to deal with, and that's two things that don't always go hand in hand. But Frost Restoration, honestly, I've used them from years back. I've always bought bits and pieces off them. But you know, I've got a bit of a haul of bits here, so I really want to thank them. First things first is, this is my old welding mask. SWP, I bought this when I was 16. I went to college on a day kind of release thing from work, and I did a welding course and I needed a welding mask, and at the time, we're talking back in 2008. Yes, I feel old now. A reactor lens thing is basically all they had. So this has actually given me arc eye last week. I really struggled. The next day I felt like I had sand in my eyes. It was unbearable actually. I actually felt really quite bad. And I've noticed it's getting worse and worse and worse. It's just not reacting the way it should do anymore. And it is getting really old. Step aside, we've got this, because I've been wanting a nice mask for a long while. Frost had this one and it looked really decent. So it's an auto darkening one again, but it's got all the different settings with different shades and apertures and things like that. So it should make me sit in quite a confined space welding, having to bother with the natural light as well coming in, and it should really help. So we'll crack this out. Let's have a look. We've got an array of bits to go through, but this is the one thing I'm really quite excited about. So it's got some spare lenses and stuff in there, and the instructions of how to set it up. And look at that. So it's an Eastwood L6700. I don't know what that means in sense, but I assume it's just a series number. But the one thing I love about this the most is it comes around my face a lot more. I already have tried it on, obviously I had to, new tool, and it fits really nice. Everything's nice about it, it adjusts nice, it stays up, it's perfect. So all inside, try and bring this up to you guys and show you as much as I possibly can. So you can probably see in there, I can get the angle right, so you got all the switches and bits and pieces up on the top there, and it's going to allow me a lot more scope to adjust things. So we're going to get stuck into sorting that out and getting it set up how I want it, but that whole thing can go. I'm really excited with that. So moving on from another bit of a shout out for us. So sorry to start off this video with a bit of a shout out, but I'm really buzzing for this. New tools is amazing. I've got some of this. So it's made by Fertan, and it's basically a rust remover, a rust treatment. So this stuff it's a German brand, and I basically asked that I get through this stuff. I have a lot of rusty cars. I like stuff to be cleaned, prepped, primed, painted before I do anything. So I got sort of put onto this stuff. It's over paintable. It's quite easy to use. Just don't need a lot. Just brush it on. Leave it 24 hours like most rust treatments you should probably do. And the one thing that really set this aside for me and wanted to go for it is you can leave bare metal after having this treatment for up to 3 months before any rust comes back onto it. So this is that. So it's made by Fertan, like I said. They do have like their own pages and stuff like that, but it stops some frost. Obviously all this stuff, I'm going to put all the links for these individual bits in the description below if you want to check them out yourself. But what I really liked about this is a litre, but you can get up to 5 litres. So if you've got a workshop or a garage when you're really rattling through stuff and you're sick of buying these little pots, knocking them over and that, you can just put this into a little, like one of those old caps, and you've got it there. So I haven't used this yet, so I can't give any reviews on it yet, but I will be using it. I will be using it like all over the place on metal and stuff like that. So it's got a zinc layer protection, it's over paintable, and it's easy for rust removal. They're the 3 top tips on it, and it literally is brush or sponge it on. But the one thing that they have said is you can put it in a spray bottle. So if you've got a big panel to do, you can spray it in and it lays nicely. And then it will create a bit of a residue anywhere really hard ingress rust, and you can wash it off with water. I know it sounds weird to use water, but a lot of these rust treatments do use water. So we'll be getting used into that. All these I'll cover a bit more when I actually get stuck into using them. But I just wanted to introduce it to the channel. Etch primers. Christ, I rattle through all this. Frost has hooked me up with this. So we've got 3 tins here to get me started. Etch primer. Don't do a restoration without it, guys. It's really, really decent. And I've just used this on that panel that's hanging up there, and the fan nozzle on that is one of the best I've ever seen. It lays so nice, and it's already dry. I've literally sprayed it 10 minutes ago, so I'm really happy with that. So I've got that to go on the shelf. But one of the big things I'm probably very, very excited about is got a bench grinder finally, guys. So that's made by SIP. It's an American brand. Make a lot of welding equipment and bits and pieces like that. So it's got 2 grinders attached to it, 2 different courses, but I've gone for a wire brush attachment to go onto it as well. So we'll be getting that fitted up and set up. But like I say, when I start using all this stuff, it's going to come kind of into its own. I've got this old countertop here, which has come out of an old factory, and now I've got a vise and a bench grinder. I feel like I can get kind of a lot more fabrication work done. And moving forward in the channel, I've got so much more stuff I want to achieve. I've got a really big build in my head that I'm mapping out and kind of collecting ideas for and tools for. And honestly, Frost, I know you do watch these videos, you do mention it a lot to me. Thanks very much for supporting this channel, and thanks very much for supporting me, because I can learn a lot more, I can do a lot more with the help of you guys, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. So like I say, jump in the descriptions below, check out all these bits. As and when I'll start getting them out in all the videos. Obviously we've already used that, we're going to use this in this episode. This we'll use probably coming up into the boot area and stuff like that, because we've got to get this back panel off soon, so we'll be getting on with that, and it's going to be really good. So I'll get that set up at some point as well, get it all bolted down to the table nicely, and it's going to make life so much easier. So yeah, thanks once again. Let's get stuck into the 89. Come on, that's what you've all come for. Let's get cracking. So those bits just close up there. So we've got just a etch primer, bench grinder, Fertan, and oh baby, get that film peeled off now. Oh yeah, that is satisfying. Oh, look at that, lovely. Right, we'll get stuck into that in a minute. Where have we got to? What have we done? Too much stuff in my garage, can't move. Let's get that door shut. So off camera, I put that little piece in there and just lightly flattened it back, not gone mad. One thing I've noticed is the paint is so thick on this car. You can see there's like 7 layers of paint. You literally physically, you guys can't feel it, but you can run your hands over that. There's a big lip. But I've got everything kind of how I wanted it. I've cleaned everything up, obviously all this joins together. Mucking around with this again, but all that pulls tight like we mentioned in the last episode. And we've got that obviously all nice and protected now, because it came as bare steel from M machine. So I'm not gonna put it in there and not being able to get to the underside of it, which I'll never see again very soon. So obviously there's tapes on there, there's some punch holes just so I can do some plug welds inside the bin. But we'll whip this panel back off, we'll get set up, we'll get welding. No more talking from me, we're just going to get stuck into it. So I'm going to put all you guys on a time lapse so I get the best angles I can with the placement I've got in this garage, and we'll just get these panels welded in. So you're going to get all 3 of these done in this episode. I've shown you how they go together, I'm just going to get cracking now, guys. My god, that's a decent finish. That stuff, that is like, it's better than you could do with an actual spray gun. That is just primer and it's such a good finish. Buzzing with that. So yeah, look, all nice and clean. Let's get it welded on. boxed off. Oh, my welding mask. What a bit of kit. I can't believe how long I've gone and had a mask that's just that crap. Wow, that's a good bit of kit. So definitely recommending that. So plug welded all of these, seam welded just along the top there. That is absolutely rock solid. Loads of strength back into that. You see I've got the airline out. There's a bit of seam sealer from the inside which keeps catching fire. So just sorted that out. Now I'm just going to tap this down here and weld that to that, then weld all this inside here, and we can block it all back up. But yeah, it's so good to be able to weld and actually see what I'm doing. I'm not that bad at welding, and sometimes I do doubt myself because I'm basically welding blind half the time. Oh, thanks Frost. Why I've left it so long. Right, tap down all this, let's get this boxed off because I can't get in there once I've got the panel in. Let's get going. Alright, so you've probably seen me trial fit this a few times. It's nice and tight, but yeah, I'm not really going to bother grinding them back because you're never going to see them again. Obviously we're going to paint all inside here before we do anything, but that's all seam welded to there, it's all seam welded through there, seam welded there, and obviously you saw from the last slide, seam welded along there. So we're still missing this little piece that's out the back there, but once we've got all this back in place, we have a good reference point to make that little piece up that fills that little woohoo gap there. But yeah, this fits as good as I think I'm going to get it. It slides up nice in there like that. So obviously I've done this repair here, it fits nice still there. Once this is all pulled tight, you can kind of see where we're going with it. So that is nice and flush. So this needs tapping in a bit. What's really quite deceiving when you're doing these is, one thing to bear in mind is on the Magnum panels, this flange is about, it probably stops about there, so you've got that sort of gap. So the actual Heritage ones are a lot thinner, obviously like an original Mini, but these flanges they leave a lot bigger. So it's looking a bit like it's not right here, and I keep looking at it, but you can probably see the profile on that there. That's massively wider than even in the rest of this. So once this is all in, I can grind it all back and it will all look nice. So. But yeah, obviously we're going to clean all this back, just make sure I've got everywhere I've wanted to get with the welder, because we're never going to see this again now. And then we're going to get in there, seam seal, and paint it all with that zinc primer. And because we're a Simpsons Classics, some Nightfire Red as well, because I can't get in there again, and I want to know that that's all right. I'm going to blow out, I'm going to compress there any dirt and dust that's in there. And yeah, I'm really happy. The whole, I can rock the car from just this panel. It's absolutely rock solid now. I'm glad we're getting somewhere. So next point of call, like I say, tidy this up, get this fitted. Alright, so like I say, I'm not going to bother grinding any of that back. It's absolutely no point. I'm going to seam seal all this. You're never going to see it again. So it just seems like a lot of work that doesn't need to happen to grind back all these. But yeah, let's let that go off. This stuff, it applies so well and it's really thick. Really decent stuff. So we're going to let that do its thing. And then we're going to come out, seam seal it. And then we're going to put top coat on top. So time for some lunch. Right, so that being said, I think we're going to park this one here for this episode. So all the inner panels now are done on the quarter panel side of it. Next episode, we will get the actual quarter panel on and we'll take our time. There's been a few suggestions, and obviously appreciate the suggestions. You can get a putty, which Frost actually sell, which you put behind it, and it stops the heat and stuff like that dispersing around the panel. Awesome stuff. Might be something I actually do try in the future, because it does look really decent. I think you can reclaim it and use it again. I'm not entirely sure, I need to look into that. I don't want it to be a wasteful resource, if you know what I mean, but we'll look into that anyway. But the way I've always done it is just have an air gun next to you and just calm it, chill it down, and just keep it kind of isolated and don't let the heat spread. It's worked for so many years for me, so I'm going to leave it like that. So yeah, in the next episode we'll get that panel on and we'll get cracking. On exciting news, we've developed a new logo and some stickers have arrived, so in the next episode I'll show you them. If not, keep an eye out on Instagram, post on there quite regularly. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, it massively helps us, so please do give this video a thumbs up. Comment below if you've done these panels, would you done stuff differently. I'm quite happy with how it's come out. It's taken a lot of fettling, and I feel like I've been in this corner now for nearly 3 or 4 episodes, but for me, like, you know, over a week, 10 days of just like a few hours a night, so I kind of want to park it somewhere. But yeah, the next episode we'll get the actual front panel on it and buttoned up, and then we can leave this side of the panel altogether. The only bit left to do will be this bit of the quarter here at the bottom, but I won't do that until the back panel's in place and I know what I've got to make it up. So that being said, like I say, comment below, give this video a thumbs up, catch you next one guys. Check in the link description below to all the bits that I've got from Frost and anything else you want. We're working very closely with them now, so hopefully I can help in some way to give you guys a little bit back. So yeah, catch you next one guys, look after yourselves.